Welcome to this video, which hopefully will help students with the small exercise with the basic HTML coding. Hopefully you again have, in this particular case with the small exercise, you have gone in and found the appropriate Blackboard document and opened it, downloaded it, whatever. Here it is right in front of you where I'm concerned with this video, and I'm going to try to make this just a little bit larger as necessary. There we go. And as I said before, I'm just wanting to get you oriented toward the coding before you actually get into the chapter that addresses web pages in the Web 110 course. Again, absolutely do not use Microsoft Word, WordPerfect. Don't use those big programs. This will cause havoc because Word and WordPerfect have some special codes, behind the scenes that can wreak havoc with a simple web page. Use something simple, as I've said in the yellow right here, like Notepad or TextPad or some simple text editor. What I want you to do basically is just take this document right here. This is a web page code, purely HTML, hypertext markup language code, and transfer it to a page and just see if it works. So this is nothing but text right now. This opening area right here that I'm selecting, and hopefully the video is showing this, is just what you put at the beginning of every single web page. It just tells it, in this case, the language is English. There's a title that will be basically the blue or black bar at the top of the web page when you open it up. Any web page you open it up, whether it's the college site or whether it's a personal site that you're using. Everything content wise in the page goes between these tags. They're called tags because they have little greater than, less than symbols surrounding them. Every bit of code and pictures, text, I said code, let me start over. Every bit of your text, pictures, videos, audio files, whatever, go between these tags that say body, and then there's usually one that pairs up with it that has I made a mistake here actually. That's not right. I think what I've done here is I've not shown you the entire code in this handout. There should be something here that says body for the ending and HTML for the ending, and that will close out the actual small exercise. Anyway, you want to take this code right here, select it. I'm using Control A to select it. You can use whatever works for you. I'm going to go ahead and select this code that's inside this text box. I'm using Control A on my computer and just copying it. Now again, it may vary depending on what particular computer you have. You just want this code right here, not the entire document handout that I put online. Alright, I'm going to open up Notepad by clicking on my start menu. This may vary again depending on your personal computer. Now when I go to all programs, mine is under something called accessories. You can search for it yourselves as you need to, and I'm going to open up Notepad right here, and hopefully I'm going to paste this information inside. Now for purposes of making this a little bit easier from a video perspective, I'm going to change the font so that it is just a little bit larger to look at. And this is the actual code right here. Let's see, the font would be, let me make it just a little bit larger so hopefully it's easier to see on the screen. There we go, it's a little bit better. And it doesn't matter that words are cut off. Again, this is a small exercise. It's not a major grade, so those of you who get nervous about A's, don't worry so much about this. It's the effort that counts. What this will do right now, if I were to save it, and I'm going to go ahead and save it. When you save an HTML document, what happens in Notepad, because it's a text editor, just a little simple, you can't even say word processing program, when you go to save as, it automatically wants to save it as text. So what you have to do is you have to force the computer to understand that it's a web page, so you have to end it with the letters HTML. I'm going to show you this in the handout for those of you who are highly visual learners. I say that a lot in class, and that's okay. So I'm going to save mine, since this particular one is called Small Exercise 7. I'm going to save it as 7. I've tried to make this in picture form, but some people just need a video step-by-step handout. So when you do File Save As, make sure that the 7 HTML is in quotes. I'll do that right now. File Save As. And I'm saving mine to the desktop so it's easier to see. And I'm going to put it in quotes, 7.html. It's in quotation marks. Don't worry about the save as type there because the quotes will override it. And when I click save, I'm going to show you what happens here. When I minimize these various screens, my file is right over here. I'm not sure if you can see it on the video or not. Hopefully you can. And mine is defaulted right now to Internet Explorer because that's the primary browser, default browser that's on my particular computer. If I were to double click and open that, which is our habit, it's just going to show the text. There's nothing done fancy to it at all. And I'll close that window. If I want to force it to open with some other package to edit it, I would right click and go to open with, which you can do with every file with Microsoft. Even in the Apple software you can do that. And then I can choose whatever's there. Now mine doesn't even say Notepad right here, but I could choose default program and I can go in. Yours will probably say Notepad, but if it doesn't, you can make this real simple. You can go into Notepad, and let's just say that for right now that I close this out completely. I can go into Notepad or WordPad if you want to use that one. It doesn't really matter which one you use. I'll go ahead and use Notepad since I've done it already. And I can do my usual file open, go to my desktop, and even if the program is not staring me in the face on the list, I can go over here and I can choose all files. I'm just showing you options that you can use, and there's 7 right there. And even though it's in HTML code, it'll still open up for you. Now what I want us to do in this exercise, and you can probably copy and paste this as well, is I want to take this stuff right here and I want to enhance it a little bit so it's a little more fancy. And I can do that by putting these various tags in the document. You don't have to know these yet, but if you absolutely want to refer to them, go back to your Codecademy exercises, go into chapter 8 on the page that I referred to in the handout, and you can do some stuff to it. For example, right here what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a header right here. There's a code, and you just have to learn the language, just like you do a foreign language. If you learn Spanish or English or sign language or whatever, you have to learn the various codes and signs associated with it. I'm going to surround this right now with 2 tags that are called H1, which means that's the largest size font that would be done on a web page. And I'll go ahead, and you can just go ahead and do save again just to update. You can do save as, but saves just as well. And I'll go ahead and let you see what happens to that page. Notice how the Web 110 is a little bit larger. You can certainly do that. So basically what's going to happen here in this handout, you're going to take this document that I've already had you copy and paste, and you're going to put in these enhancements. Now if you want to, you can technically copy and paste this one, I guess. I just put these tags in red. Here's the H1 tag surrounding Web 110. H3 is a heading that's just a little bit smaller. The P stands for paragraph, and you'll notice that for every tag just about in the whole language, there is a /n tag. It means everything that it surrounds is affected by this particular part. For example, Web 110 will be the only part that has large letters because the H1 and the closing H1 surround it. This paragraph is only affecting this one sentence. Now what a paragraph does is it will put a space above it and a space below it, so it will separate itself and make it a little bit neat. So I did a second paragraph right here for these couple of sentences. In this next one, I have something called an unordered list. That's what the UL stands for. It's like a bunch of bullets. UL for unordered list, and then the ending tag UL, so it means that these items right here, Facebook, Google, and Alexa, will be in the list. I have to separate each individual component of the unordered list by the little LI tag. And again, you don't have to know these tags because it's not a programming class, but it's just an introduction to it when you eventually get to, I think, chapter 8 in your textbook. The final one down here is one that is called a hyperlink reference. The A stands for the word anchor. This is the name of the website. For example, specifically here, it's surrounding the black letters called Internet Archive. So what happens here, this is what causes the blue underlined hyperlink to happen on your web pages, on anybody's web pages. Internet Archives will have blue letters with an underline automatically because of this particular tag. Now what's a little bit more enhancing here with the letter A is that I've got an anchor, which means I'm going to link it to some of the page. It's saying when I click on the words Internet Archives, it's going to go to the site that I put in quotation marks. Now you can type this in by hand if you want to, or you can put in quotes. Then it says contact me for more information. The word strong is a new code for the word bold. You could put a B right there instead of strong. The M, the EM you see right here, looks like the first 2 letters of Emily, stands for the words italics. It used to be an I right there. And again, when I need to add to this handout are these 2 N tags, which I didn't do before. And I need to put those in there. And let me see if I can do this real fast and hopefully not bore you in this video. Let's see what I can do here. And here we go. I need to put an end tag right there. This should work just fine. I put the little slash in front of body and in front of HTML. What I'm going to do right here is just copy this just in the interest of time for the video, and you could probably do that just to get this done in your handout as well. Now again, be sure you're in Notepad or WordPad when you do this. I apologize for my cold today. If I do paste, there's my information right there. Notice, of course, that it's not in red letters. That was just for emphasis in my handout. Now, I can do, since this is a brand new, and I'll do save as again, and I'm going to type 7 in quotes. This is not necessarily conventional, but the purpose of this handout is not to hold your hand, or this video is not to hold your hand, but to just get it done, to give you something visual to look at. So I'm going to click save right there. It'll ask me to replace it, of course, and it's on the screen. There's the old page right there, which I'll close, and there's my screenshot of my desktop where it's got the word 7. If I were to just to double click it, notice the enhancements that are here. The H1 is for this title. The H3 tags were for this one that's smaller. The paragraph, remember that little P, takes each paragraph and separates them by a blank space above and below it. The UL for unordered list is for this stuff. And then here are the strong or the bold characters and the italicized or emphasized characters. If I click on the link Internet Archives, it will go to that particular page. Now, with any web page on the planet, including this one, you can right click if you want to and choose View Source, and it will show you the code that's associated with this page. And I'm going to put this over to the side. I hope you can see this, but just to give you some emphasis here, here's the H1 for the big title, Web 110. Here's the H3 for the subtitle. It's a little bit smaller. It goes all the way to H6, by the way, which is very tiny. Here is the paragraph, and of course the other one is there. Here's the unordered list, the UL and the LI. UL stands for unordered list, and LI stands for each particle or component of the list. Here's the hyperlink reference right here, which is the most complex, but it's not really that hard if you're careful. Here is the bold for my name, Michael Sisk. Here's the italicized, or what they call emphasis now, for that part. And if you look at the handout, again, it will, you look for the icon, as I said right here, and there's what the page will look like when you finish it. Basically, just submit that to me. Now, what you want to do is to submit to me not, well, I'll let you. I prefer that you submit to me the file name that you've given me. Just send that file to me, whatever works for you. Don't make this very complicated. Don't spend 5 or 6 hours trying to struggle with it. Don't stress over it. It's not worth that. If you have any questions, just contact me, and I'll be glad to walk you through this. This is not intended to be any kind of torture for anyone at all. So hopefully this video will be helpful. A bit unconventional and a bit rushed, and I apologize for that. Hopefully this helps you out.